Carolina, Mr. Butterfield for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to honor the life and work of a remarkable community leader, Ferdinand Vincent Pete Allison, Jr., who passed on Monday, June 3rd at the age of 91. Pete Allison was a pillar in the Durham, North Carolina community. He was a personable and kind and effective banking leader who took great pride in his work, but even greater pride in his family. He fought for justice. He fought for equality when and where he could. Pete Allison successfully used his banking career to enrich the lives of countless individuals through his involvement in many organizations and charities. The sympathies of the House of Representatives are with Pete's entire family during this difficult time. Mr. Speaker, I last visited Mr. Allison and his family less than 48 hours before his passing. He sat in the family's living room and participated in our very serious conversation. As I departed the home, he told me that he had been so sick, and my response to him was that I knew that he had had some difficult days, but that he must know that he was blessed. He was blessed to be surrounded by a loving and supportive wife and family. And he responded that he was aware of that fact. Mr. Allison was on schedule to have been inducted into the North Carolina Banking Hall of Fame. Only 24 other individuals, Mr. Speaker, this great honor in our state. Pete Allison was a graduate of Hampton Institute, now known as Hampton University, an institution that he loved and revered. Following graduation, he earned a Master's of Business Administration from New York University. Highly educated, but not sure which career path he would take, Mr. Allison, upon graduation, made a trip to Durham to visit his family who lived in this historic community. His father worked at North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company. Mr. Allison was awed on that visit. He was awed by Durham and its thriving environment for African American business. On that visit, Pete became acquainted with a gentleman named John Shag Stewart, whom I remember so well, president of Mutual Savings and Loan Association there in Durham, and he was offered a job as a teller. He was more than a teller. After 25 years, he became chief executive officer in less than 25 years. That was remarkable. During his tenure at the Savings and Loan Association, he continued to build on the groundbreaking work of other men like John Merrick and C.C. Spaulding and Aaron McDuffie Moore and Richard Fitzgerald and James E. Shepard and W.J. Kennedy and John Hervey Wheeler and Asa Spaulding Sr. and W.G. Pearson and many, many others in helping to grow what was known nationally as the Black Wall Street. Pete Allison served at the helm of Mutual Savings and Loan during the institution's most successful years. He spearheaded the transition from a Mutual Savings and Loan Association to a Mutual Savings Bank, and also led to the acquisitions of American Federal Savings and Loan and Greensboro National Bank. Mr. Allison was a pillar of the Durham community for more than 60 long years. As one who led by example, his friends and former colleagues praised Mr. Allison for having been a strong and effective leader. Most recently, in 2010, Mr. Allison received the Mechanics and Farmers Bank Founders Award, which recognized his commitment to promoting personal and community development. Mr. Allison is survived by his lovely wife, Dr. E. Lavonia Ingram Allison, and we always like to include the Ingram part because that family also has a rich history. Many of our CBC members know Dr. Allison so very well for her community advocacy. Like her husband, Dr. Allison received her undergraduate degree from Hampton and her graduate and doctoral degrees from New York University. She was a longtime member and head of the influential Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People, which I believe is the oldest and most effective political committee in the United States. Mr. Allison was a faithful member of White Rock Missionary Baptist Church in Durham. Finally, Mr. Speaker, Pete Allison is also survived by two children, Dr. F. Vincent Allison III, his namesake, and Michelle Allison Davis, and they have 4 grandchildren. Mr. Speaker, today I ask my colleagues to join me in honoring the life and work of F.V. Pete Allison, Jr. Thank you for the time this morning, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. The